Good evening. This is Michael Muse, the Overcomer Coach, where overcoming your fears is not an option. I'm coming to you today with Michael's Moments of Inspiration. And what I want to share today is three things that I believe are totally crucial for anyone who wants to be successful, anyone who's looking to dig deeper and looking for fulfillment, anyone who's been dealing with rejection, fear, you've been dealing with any kind of pain, setbacks, defeat. This is the place you come to be inspired. And the one thing I want to talk about uh, early on, one key element for me. Now, definitely, this when you look at all the people who are successful worldwide. When you look at the Oprahs, the Bill Gates, the Warren Buffetts, the one thing they all had to have early on was faith. And the next thing that they all had was a focus. And the next thing they each had was follow through. And we're going to talk about each of those things. If you'd like to join Female Exec, you're welcome to jump on in the seat. And definitely, let's talk about faith first. And we know just from the word, from the Bible, that faith is the hope for the things that's unseen that we hope for. And so it starts in our thoughts. It starts in our mindset. And it's so crucial when we're looking to build faith. It's so crucial when we're looking to go to the next level. We have to look at our thoughts. Because when we want to have faith, we have to prepare our minds. We have to prepare our minds with meditation. Jim Rohn talks a lot about meditation, and how important it is to write down our goals, how important it is to stay focused and do it every day and not give up. It is so important that we move forward. And we only can move forward in our faith is by changing our mindset. See, our mindsets get so distracted between family, life, work, children, negative people, our critics. But the one thing we can control, irregardless of what we're going through, we can control our thoughts. And a big part of that, we have to do it early on. As soon as a negative thought comes, we have to burn it at the root. And I talk about that in my book, Rise and Burn. How our mind is just like a garden and seeds are planted all over the place. And some seeds are good. Some seeds are bad. Some seeds end up becoming weeds. But I challenge you today, as you're thinking right now, and even as you're having certain moments right now, irregardless how your day has gone, your week has gone, even though this is just the second month of the year, you can make that change in a matter of seconds. And it's just a matter of seconds. You can get rid of those negative thoughts. Because once you get rid of those negative thoughts and you burn them, and you get consistent at doing that, the next thing that is crucial and critical, once you burn and get rid of those negative thoughts, the next important thing is going to be to look at and ask yourself, who influences you? I have a question for you. Whose voice do you listen to? Are you listening to the people who told you you couldn't do it? Are you listening to family members who said you couldn't do it? Friends who said you couldn't do it? Classmates who said you couldn't do it? Are you even listening to teachers who said you couldn't do it? Who is the voice that you're listening to? What voice is influencing you? We have to look at that. We have to look at who is influencing us. And as we look at that, who's influenced us, my next thing is, and this is something that people take for granted, whatever voice you're listening to, that's the voice you trust. And if you trust that voice, that will truly be the size of your dream. So if you're around people, if you have people in your circle and they're not influencing you to do better, if they're not providing that energy that's going to propel you to do better and be better, you need to change who you're hanging around. I know for me, after I was definitely sick, after I suffered my heart attack, seizure, and kidney failure at the same time, I truly got to see who was my real friend and who loved me. And at the time, I had a business that was doing very, very well. And at the time of that business, I had, people who said, "Hey, I got your back." They were trying to take from me. And so it's so crucial that we know that we examine ourselves first. And we look at the people around us. And we have to truly look at how we determine who is our friend and who is not our friend. And we have to get to a point where if a person is a friend and they're just fun to hang out with, I'm not saying stop being friends with them. You just make sure that time that you do want to just hang out and that's it. That's the only time that you give them. Because you want to invest that time in yourself. You want to increase positive thoughts. You want to increase your faith. You want to position yourself to be the best you can be. You want to be the thought leader in your industry. You want to be the person, if a job does cut back, you want to be in that top 10%. You are the person, if you're a parent, that other parents and teachers are praising you because of the way you parenting your child. You want to be that person the community looks to when your kids go outside to play and say, "Wow, you have some very well-mannered kids and they're helpful and they're mannerable." You want to be that person who's able to take advantage of every opportunity that comes your way. So it's crucial building that faith. It's so critical to build that faith. And building that faith, it starts with definitely working on your mindset, constantly working on those thoughts. It's crucial. There's no getting around it. But you know what stops most people? A lot of people have faith. You go any church in America, any church or mosque, synagogue around the world, and everyone professes to love God. They profess to love Jesus, Allah, Buddha, whatever religion they profess. But what separates the people in all those different churches and all those different denominations is focus. We have to be able to focus. And being able to focus is critical. Because once we have the faith and believe, now we have to have the focus to push forward. And I truly believe one of the quotes I have in my book is, where you focus your attention is where you invest your power. The efficient and effective use of power leads to success and greatness. Hey, Leon, how you doing? If you want to jump on in, you can jump on in. So it's so crucial. Where you focus your attention is where you invest your power. The efficient and effective use of power leads to success and greatness. It's so crucial to know that where you invest it, because there's too many people who get excited about moving forward. They get excited when they get into a business. They get excited when they get into relationships. They get excited about a new job. But then after a while, they lose focus. And at that time they lose focus, that's the time that is truly the time they wonder, why am I not successful? Why is this person doing good? Why is that person not doing? Why am I not doing what my other friend is doing? Why is this person making more money than me? Real simple. Focus. And the reason why focus is such a big thing is because people nowadays let so many distractions stop them. It's sad. I know for me, it's so many times I've let family, I've let work, I let business, I've let other things pull my attention from staying focused on my dreams. Too many times I let people and situations distract me. I want you all to know we're all going to be distracted. That's one thing we're not going to be able to get away from. That's just the reality of it. We will all be distracted. We will always have 1,000 things fighting for our attention. My question for you today is, what decision will you make? Are you going to allow yourself mentally to be distracted? Or are you going to be the person who takes a stand and stays focused? And see, people always want to know another thing, what makes a successful great? Let's look at Michael Jordan. Well, let's look at his focus. He realized, even being an NBA champion, he realized he had to improve his game. So what he did, he went out and hired a shooting coach just to shoot the ball. And when he did that, that allowed him to become a better shooter. That allowed him more opportunities. But he had to get a coach. And too many times, people are not willing to invest in a coach. I urge every last one of you, if you've been thinking about getting a coach, get it. It is the best investment you can make. We all need accountability. We all need that sense of discipline. We all need that help. Because when we hear the word self-made, a self-made millionaire, self-made billionaire, that is the biggest lie ever. Because even though they had the idea and they put it into action, it took a team of people around them for it to be birthed. And so I'm telling you now, do not shortchange yourself. Look for someone who can guide you and get you where you're trying to go. And it's always best to find a person who has already gone the road before you. Because like me, I'm going to tell you something. I was being cheap at one time. I was just looking for people who did things a little bit better than me, and I tried to get information and try to seek them out. And you know what? I was wasting more time than I should have. When I actually put the money where my mouth is at, and I invested in me, that's when things in my life start to change. Because we're all looking to grow. We all want to be better. But the truth is, in reality is, it becomes very hard sometimes, because when we're doing things and as we're taking steps and as we're doing the action, you know what? Sometimes you can't see what you're doing, because guess what? You are the picture inside the frame. And the fact that you are the picture inside of the frame, you're really not able to process, you're not able to see yourself on a daily basis the way you need to see yourself. So I urge you to get a coach, because a coach is going to help you have that laser-like focus that you need. A coach is going to see things in your environment. You're going to see the things that you're doing that you can't see. So I urge you to get a coach. It don't have to be me, but you look for someone who is a high achiever in whatever area you want to improve in, because it's so crucial. You have to focus your attention. And for me, when I made the decision to get a coach, it made things easier for me when I was going through my health issues. when I was laying there in my bed asking God, am I going to live today? And once I got out the hospital and I got a chance to get with my coach, I was able to see things differently, because when you go through a sickness like I did, just to kind of bring everybody up who may have not heard earlier, I suffered a heart attack, seizure, and kidney failure all at the same time. So my world got rocked upside down. So at that point, I didn't have a focus. I was fighting just to have the faith to ask God, am I going to live another day? And I'm telling you all right now, it took me having a coach to get a focus, to really get my life back into a balanced state where I can move and be the best I can be. Because, like I said earlier, you're not going to stop the distractions. You're not going to be able to stop the bad times. All you can do is be prepared. We always hear the word opportunity. And we always hear about people who are, quote unquote, prepared for opportunities. Well, guess what? You also have to be prepared for the bad times. There's no getting around it. You have to be prepared to deal with pain. You had to be prepared to deal with disappointment. You had to be prepared to deal with critics. You had to be prepared to deal with naysayers. There's no getting around it. So focus is important. It's critical. The one thing they say, sorry about that. Yeah, but one thing that people will say, and thank you, Leon. Yeah, it froze up real bad and tried to reset and it kicked me out. But yeah, but one thing definitely is the follow up. I've always heard it say from the top leaders. They always say you get your results from 20% of the work. 80% of all the effort you do is the 20% that's going to be your results. And when you look at the high performers, the peak performers, they all say the same thing. But the one thing they do that helps them and keep them where they need to go is the fact that they follow through. I'm going to say it again. They follow through. They have a system in place on following through. They make sure if they're in sales, they make sure they have contact with that client a minimum of 12 times. They make sure if it's an audition, whatever, they make sure they put the practice in. They make sure they talk to who the decision makers are. They make sure their name is out there. And you know what? When I first started doing Blab, the first thing my coach told me, he said, you know why you're not making money, Michael? I said, why? He said, don't nobody know you. Have y'all heard that before? Nobody. He said, nobody knows you. That's why you're not where you try. That's the reason why you're not where you're trying to go. Nobody knows you. I said, yeah, you're right. And so it gets back to that point, that this quote we all hear, the know, like, and trust. Well, good, if no one knows you, no one likes you, no one trusts you, how are they gonna do business with you? How are they gonna know what your gift is? How are they gonna know what your divine purpose is? How are they gonna know that you are a world changer, that you are bringing something to help them? How are they gonna know? They're not gonna know unless you follow up. So it's critical that you follow up. The follow through is where separates the winners from the losers. And a prime example was a Super Bowl just Sunday. That one play of the game when the ball got knocked out of Cam Newton's hand. And when he saw it, he had a split second to make a decision. And that was a championship decision. I don't know why he froze, but he froze. But he had a chance to get the ball. And he didn't move. He didn't take the leap into the pile to get it. So guess what? He didn't follow through. And the fact he didn't follow through, that put him in a position where he wasn't able to win the game. And you know what, everyone? I want you all to know. It's your follow through that will determine how you win this game of life. Period. Your follow through. Because when you have persistence with your follow through, you're gonna come out on top a whole lot better than people who are more talented than you. You're gonna come out a whole lot better than people who are smarter than you. I guarantee you, it's the follow through. Why do you think these companies spend billions of dollars on commercials, from fast food and etc.? They spend those commercials to make sure they're following through, making sure they are in your mind. They're in your thoughts. So guess what? We have to do the same thing. We have to make sure that we are in people's face. We have to make sure that we're standing strong. We have to make sure we are setting the example. We have to show that whatever we're doing, that we are truly setting the example. We have to show that we have that unique selling proposition about ourselves that's separate and totally different from everybody else. There's no other option now. So I want to leave you with this. If you want to be a champion, create your system for your follow-up. If it's the follow-up for your life, write all your goals down. Get your goals in place. If it's for your business, make sure your business has a system that everyone understands what's going on. If it's your marriage, make sure you and your spouse have a game plan. You have goals and they're working together, and you make sure you create a win-win situation. If you own a company, make sure all your employees are on the same page. Make sure that they're happy, because the biggest mistake most companies make, they have people feeling like they're useless. They have people feeling like they're not significant. And that's the worst thing a person in a company can do, is have someone feel like they're insignificant, when it's the people with the talents and the energy that helps any company do what they do, achieve what they achieve, to go higher, to do bigger, to be better. And I want to urge all of you out there tonight, you could do better, you can be better, but it's about having the faith. It's about having the focus, and it's about the follow through. You are listening to Michael Muse, the Overcomer Coach. You can reach out to me at michaelmusenow.com. You can subscribe to my newsletter, and I have a special gift to anyone who subscribes to the newsletter. And definitely, these are my moments of inspiration. You have a great night.